is a dangerous place. Welcome to Tim Conley Drums, and have I got a story for you today. I've been saving this one because this is a special story of something that happened to me when I went to Nashville, drumming related, of course. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is studying and taking drum lessons. And one of the things that I've done throughout my life, to be totally honest, I would say starting more in my 20s for sure, but trying to get lessons from top level players. So if I wanted to learn how to do something specific, I would seek out a guy that was a master in that type of drumming. So for example, when I wanted to learn how to play Afro-Cuban, I studied with Memo Acevedo, incredible drummer from, I believe, Venezuela. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's from Venezuela. Unbelievable Afro-Cuban jazz drummer. So when I wanted to learn how to really dig into that style, I sought him out, took lessons with him. Rick Gratton, to learn how to play linear funk. Rick's Licks, that was another guy that I sought out because I really wanted to dig into, linear funk. And in Canada anyways, he was the best that you could find, and he was awesome. Another guy is Paul DeLong. Took lessons with Paul DeLong on how to play fusion drumming. The guy's a fusion master and he's a polyrhythmic master. So to learn how to play and improve on my polyrhythms and my fusion type drumming, Vinnie Colaiuta licks and Billy Cobham and guys like that, I would go to Paul and he would teach me. I studied with him actually for quite a long time, learning all that stuff. So I would seek people out. So moving forward, not too long ago, like probably 7 years ago, I sought out and managed to hook up with Zoro The Drummer, who is Lenny Kravitz's drummer. He's also played with many other artists from the 80s right up till now. He's quite famous in the drum world, and he's a fantastic groove player, and I love the way he barks the hats on various spots. So I wanted to tap into his brain and find out, where did he get this incredible level of groove from, and also the hi-hat barking that he does, and also just some, I just like generally the way the guy phrases around the drum kit, and I just wanted to dig into some of his stuff. So I contacted him, we arranged it, he agreed to the lesson. I had to go to Nashville. It's about a 12-hour drive from where I am. And basically, when we were in the setup stage, he did not inform me about anything other than where he lived. So here's where I live. I think the area was a suburb of Nashville, a wealthy suburb of Nashville, very nice neighborhood. Actually, his home and the area around him was really beautiful. I think it was called Glendale, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're a Nashville person, and you know the rich area that I'm talking about, neighboring Nashville, put it in the comments. I think it's Glendale, but I could be getting that confused with some other neighborhoods I've been in. I tend to do that. Anyways, I get online, of course, and I book a hotel. And I've been to Nashville, but I don't know Nashville. I've been to Nashville, I've toured through Nashville, played gigs in Nashville, in and outside, surrounding area, Nashville, the whole 9 yards. But when you're touring and you're driving and you're not really paying attention to neighborhoods, you're just, getting to your venue, doing your thing, packing up and leaving. Anyways, I book a hotel, and like I said, I did not know where I was booking the hotel. It was close to the neighborhood where he lived, not too far. When I say close, I'm talking about, say, 5 kilometers, which is about 3 miles roughly from the hotel to where Zoro's house was. Okay, so the day finally comes, the long trek. And what I had booked is 2 lessons, one in the evening, say I can't remember exactly what day of the week, but let's say it was a Friday night for 2 hours, and Saturday for 3 hours. So I booked 5 hours with them. And so I decided to drive up on the Thursday, as I recall. Yeah, I drove up on the Thursday to get there so that I was rested and ready and prepared for my 2 lessons. So the drive to Nashville was actually fine, no problem. I have no problem at all with long drives. Being a touring musician, I've experienced long drives since I was 20 years old. The other thing is, yearly, almost, I drive to Florida. I love Florida and I go there often. Sometimes I'm there to play, sometimes I'm there to just holiday. So it's a variety of things that I go to Florida for, but I love Florida. Anyways, get to Nashville, get to the hotel, and as I'm driving into the neighborhood, this story is unbelievable, by the way. I've been so excited to tell it. I got to get to it. As I'm driving into the area where the hotel is, I'm looking around going, oh boy, what kind of a neighborhood is this? Well, I get into the hotel and I pull in and I park, out near the hotel, in the back part of the hotel. And I go inside, and as soon as I go inside, I'm like, what kind of a place is this? It turns out I booked a hotel basically in the hood, a very bad area. I found out from Zoro that I was in the worst possible area that I could be in Nashville. Yay! So I go in there and I'm greeted by a person that works for the hotel. I can't remember the hotel. It was a chain, but I can't remember the name of the hotel. But I go in there and basically she's got about 3 teeth. And she's young, but she looks old. You know that rough, like I said, 3 teeth. She's lived a rough life, and she's got a job, good for her. But at the same time, I'm thinking, whoa, this lady's rough. But anyway, doesn't matter. I go in there, I give him the credit card, pay for the room, all that stuff. She says to me, where is your car parked? So I said, it's parked right around back of the hotel. She says, okay, here is a code. If you look to the left of where you're parked, you'll see a fence and it's a gate. It's an automatic gate. You punch this code in, the gate opens, park your car in there. And I'm like, I have to park my car in a gated area? She says, trust me, you're gonna wanna park your car in there. And I'm like, okay. Then she proceeds to tell me about how, a little bit of her life story and this sort of thing. So, we're talking whatever. Nice lady, but I'm not interested. I could tell that she was trying to see what I was doing later. And I told her, I said, I got a drum lesson later. That's what I'm doing, and I'm going to be focusing on that. So we'll just leave it at that. So I then leave the front lobby of the hotel, and I walk around, go back to my car because I'm going to go park it. I was going to walk the area a little bit, check out the neighborhood a little bit, get some lunch. I'm there early. It's Thursday. My lesson's not until Friday. I'm going to check the area out a little bit, despite the fact that I could see that it's not the greatest area. Anyways, as I come walking out and I come around, I walk down, I come around, there's my car with 5 black dudes sitting on it and standing around it. And I'm like, holy shit, are you kidding me? And they see me, of course, walking up to the car, and they're like, yo, what's up, white boy? And I'm like, what's up? And I'm thinking to myself, I've been here 10 minutes. I'm already going to get robbed, my car stolen, and maybe beat up. I'm like, what the? I don't panic, but I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, to myself? So they're like, yo, what's up? Is this your car? And I'm like, yeah, that's my car. And they're like, oh, that's a nice car. And it's like a scene out of a freaking movie. It's a scene out of a movie. There's 2 of them are sitting on the car and they're kind of lounging. The other ones are walking around, touching it. Yeah, this is a nice car and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, I just go into a spiel, and this saved me. I told them the truth. I said, look, guys, I just got here. I drove 12 hours, maybe even longer with breaks, probably over 13, close to 14 hours. And I'm tired. I'm here for a drum lesson, and I'm from Canada. And like I said, I've driven 14 hours. I'm here to take a drum lesson with Zoro the Drummer, Lenny Kravitz's drummer. And they perk up and they go, you're a drummer? And then the other guy says, Lenny Kravitz's drummer. I like Lenny Kravitz. And then they sort of have a conversation amongst themselves. Yeah, I like Lenny Kravitz too. Yeah, I like that mofo, you know. And I'm like, holy. So they then say to me, you're a drummer. I go, yeah, I'm a drummer. And I proceed to tell them that, you know, I'm really excited about my lesson and I'm not looking for any trouble. You know, you guys are you know, you look like a wonderful bunch of young men, you know, because I'm quite a bit older than them. These guys are in their 20s and I'm trying to save my ass. So anyways, they end up sliding off the car and then they say, you know, prove to us that you're a drummer. Well, I got some sticks. I got, you know, I brought my stick bag. I get my stick bag out, take my sticks. I start pounding out some singles, doubles, paradiddles, whatever, on the cement. And they're like, yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool. And then it all changed because from the point of where I thought I was going to get robbed, these guys are now like, yeah, man, you cool, you cool. And they totally changed their attitude. They all climbed off the car. And they told me, this is the funniest part, two things. They said, make sure you park your car in that gated area. And I'm like, are you kidding me? These guys were right on the verge of robbing me, stealing my car, and now they're warning me, if you don't want to get your car stolen, make sure you park it. And then I said, oh, that's what the lady in the hotel told me. She gave me a pass. She told me to park it in there. And this is the second funny part. They say, oh, you want to stay away from her. She's crazy. And I'm like, wait a second. 5 guys out here, right on the verge, like I said, of robbing me, beating me up potentially, stealing my shit, ruining my entire trip. And they're worried about me being near the lady that works in the hotel. She crazy. You want to stay away from her. She cray. So I'm like, okay, guys, I'll take your advice. Thanks very much. And they walk away and they're like, see you around, white boy. You know, and I'm just like, see you guys around, you know. And I'm just like, oh my God. I get in my car. I drive over to the gated area, punch the code in, park my car, and I come back out. And I'm thinking, I'm of course I'm on edge. I'm nervous. I'm like, you know, I almost got jacked up, you know. I've been here 15 minutes. So I decide to go to the hotel just to calm myself down, you know, maybe grab a drink or something and just relax for a little bit. So I go up to the room and I open the door and oh my God, the room, it was like, it reminded me of a Rob Zombie movie. Dingy, dusty, dark, old, like this hotel was old furniture. It just I'm looking at this place going, has this place ever been cleaned? I walk in, I look at the lamp because I want to turn some lights on. As I'm fumbling around looking for the lamp, I feel something on the top of the lamp shade. It's an old lamp. Some rubbery thing. Well, I realize it's a frickin' condom. I'm like, oh my God, the place is filthy. I kind of laughed about the condom, I have to admit, but at the same time, the first thought that came into my head is, my wife would not be happy here. Because my wife is a very classy lady and she likes nice things. This hotel is right out of a movie. It's seedy. It's dirty, condoms all over the place. I was positive there's going to be needles and stuff in there, which I did find some needles. Anyways, I managed to get the lights on. I decided that night when I slept there to sleep in my clothes on top of the bed. I did not want to get inside that bed. and, you know, the room itself was fine, but it just wasn't a very nice place. And I remember I took some pictures, but I think I erased them. Otherwise, I would put them up right here to show you guys that hotel room. I did take some pictures because I remember sending them to my wife, and she laughed at me. She's just like, what have you gotten yourself into? It wasn't until I got home, though, that I told her the story about these guys in the parking lot. Anyways, so I'm kind of chuckling to myself, whatever, and I'm checking the room out and whatever, and I'm debating if I'm going to have a shower or not. And the phone rings. Answer the phone. Pretty unusual, but I answer the phone. It's the lady at the front desk, and I'm like, oh no, this is the lady that I have been warned about. She cray-cray. So she says to me, this is actually pretty funny. She says, if a guy comes walking around and he's pounding on your door, just ignore him. That's Leroy. He's crazy and he's looking for his girlfriend. He thinks that she's here. He called and I told him that she's not here, but she stayed in your room last night. And I'm like, prostitute? She says, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, that would explain the condom. Probably a junkie. That would explain the needles. Yay! Leroy. I said to her, okay, you know, if Leroy comes around, I'm not going to be letting him in. So I hang up the phone, and once again, I'm debating now. Should I even stay here? There's got to be a better hotel than this. There's got to be. I'm debating. I ended up staying. And after a little bit of time, I relaxed myself. I decided to go out for a walk. I got myself some lunch. I had no issues, you know, wandered around a little bit, no problems. Bad area, not a very nice area, but, you know, it is what it is. And I contacted Zoro, and I told him I was in town, and I told him where I was. And that's when he says, you're in the hood. I'm like, no kidding. And I tell him what's already happened to me, and he just laughing, but at the same time going, oh man, you're lucky. You're so lucky that, you know, nothing happened to you. And I'm like, well, the day's not over, and I'm still here for a few days, but I am looking forward to seeing you. And he says, yeah, man, just, you know, take it easy, calm yourself. You know, we'll have a great time at the lessons. And, you know, he reassured me that everything is going to be okay. He just told me a few streets to stay off of. One of them that he mentioned, I was already on. So it's like too late for that. But anyways, eventually I go back to the hotel. I hang out at the hotel. And it's Thursday evening because my lesson was Friday evening and Saturday. Right. So I just chilled back at the hotel. It's about, I don't know, 9:30, and I hear somebody. It's one of those motels where you got to walk upstairs on the outside, and there's like a deck on the outside of the door. So you go. I was on the 3rd floor, I think. You walk up the stairs to get to my level, and then you walk across the deck, and there's your room, right? Anyways, I hear the stairs pounding. And this is the first time I'd really heard any noise. It was actually pretty quiet there. So I hear the stairs pounding, and I realize somebody's coming upstairs, and he doesn't sound too happy based on the steps. Then I can hear, Lorraine. Somebody is calling out this woman named Lorraine. And I can hear him pounding on doors. Finally, he gets to my door. Lorraine, I know you in there, you bitch. I know you in there. And I can laugh now, but I'm not going to lie to you. At that moment, this is what the woman at the front desk warned me about Leroy searching out Lorraine. So I'm sitting in there going, should I answer the door? She told me not to let him in. I'm not going to let him in, but should I respond? Should I stay quiet? You know, what the hell do you do in this situation? This guy could have a gun, a knife. He could think I'm a John. and it could just, this whole situation could just blow up into a disaster. I decide to go into the bathroom, close the door quietly, and just stay quiet. Now, this guy was pounding on this door. I was amazed how strong this door was, because I could tell Leroy was not a small man. I could tell. So I'm thinking, if he comes in, what am I going to do? He's going to be extremely pissed. I'm going to have to defend myself. So I'm looking around, trying to find something to defend myself with, as Leroy is just pounding and kicking this door. And I'm thinking, the door is not going to hold. I'm in for it, So I debated calling down to the front desk or calling 911, but it was all happening so fast. And you get a million thoughts through your head. Anyways, he's pounding on the door, And then all of a sudden, he stops and I hear footsteps and he disappears. So I remember staying in that bathroom for about 5 or 10 minutes thinking, he's coming back. Finally, I come out. I go to the door, listen at the door. I don't hear anything. I think he's gone. I open the door, stick my head out. No Leroy. And I'm like, okay, he's gone. So then I call down to the front desk and I go, listen, Leroy was just here looking for Lorraine. I'm thinking that I might need a different room because he may come back and he knows exactly which room to go to. Unfortunately, she tells me there's no other rooms. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then she says, yeah, if Leroy comes back, just call the police. And I'm like, oh my God. This is going from bad to worse. So now, of course, what do you think? Spend my whole evening all nervous that Leroy is going to come back looking for Lorraine. Anyways, he did not come back that night. So I go to bed, terrible sleep, of course, because I'm nervous. You don't know what's going to happen, whatever. And I'm in the hood. Get up the next day, grab a shower. I go get some breakfast. Everything's fine. There's nobody around in the morning in the hood. That's one thing about the hood. There's hardly anybody around. Everybody's a night person there, right? So I go and I get some breakfast, come back to the hotel, hang out at the hotel. I ended up, doing some practicing on a pad, whatever. And nothing really happened that day. I ended up leaving fairly early to get over to my lesson because I just wanted to check out the area, whatever. So I leave a couple hours early and I get into the neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood that Zoro lived in. Beautiful neighborhood, sprawling hills, beautiful homes. I expected this. The guy's a successful musician. He's done really well, really beautiful. So I ended up, taking a few pictures. Once again, I'm sorry, guys, I don't have those pictures anymore. I do have pictures of Zoro and I at the lesson. So I will let you see those. So finally, the time comes where it's my lesson time. So I roll up into Zoro's driveway. I go in, I have the lesson. He laughs at me the whole time because I'm telling him about Leroy and Lorraine and these guys trying to rob me and the lady at the front desk. And he's just like shaking his head going, hey man, welcome to Nashville. And that's where the title of this video comes from. He says to me, Nashville is a dangerous place. Now I said to him, man, you were in LA. Why did you move to Nashville? And he tells me he's a religious guy. God wanted him to go to Nashville, whatever. Okay, I'm not a religious person. But he says that he had a spiritual calling to go to Nashville, and that's where he decided to leave LA and he came to Nashville. Now, the interesting thing is real estate for 1 second here. I asked him, how much did you pay? I'm just curious. Obviously he could have said, none of your business. But he told me he paid $460,000. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The place is a mansion. The land is huge. He's got 2 acres, beautiful homes near him. Scattered out. He's got lots of land. He's got a beautiful home. I mean, I'm in this house. It's giant. It's got to be about 5,000 square feet. His drum room was amazing. He had 5 drum kits set up in there, one of which was a Buddy Rich drum kit. And if I can find that picture, because I know I still have it, I will post that picture of Zoro and his buddy Rich drum kit. Now, I remember saying to him, hey, can I play the Buddy Rich drum kit? Can I play that? He said, no. Nobody is allowed to play that kit. I don't even play it. I was disappointed. I wanted to play a Buddy Rich legendary actual kit that Buddy played. He actually showed me a picture of Buddy on this exact kit. So I was disappointed. He let me stand by it. He wouldn't let me touch it. He was very like, don't touch it, don't do, you know. And he was very nervous when I was around it, but I didn't touch it. I respected his wishes. And, you know, we had the lesson. So I go back to my hotel room that night, and I'm not in the room 15 minutes. And I'm in a glow now because it was a great lesson. He's a great guy, you know, very motivational. I'm inspired. I'm excited about the next lesson. I'm thinking, all of a sudden the phone rings again. It's the girl from the front desk saying, my shift is over in 15 minutes. Can I come up to your room? Do you want to hang out, have a drink? Maybe we can go to a bar, whatever. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Nothing against this lady. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but not my kind. Plus, I'm a married man, and I don't think my wife would appreciate me going for drum lessons and, you know, getting busy and hanging out with ladies that work in the hotel that I'm staying at. So I very kindly said that no thank you, you know, you're a lovely person, whatever, but no thank you, and have a good night, whatever. Then I hang up. Then 15 minutes later, she calls me again, and I'm like, oh my God, she is not giving up. But this time it's to warn me that Leroy is back on the property. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a freaking nightmare. Leroy's back. So then I'm debating. I'm like, I should just leave. So I get my stuff together, not leave in the sense that I'm checking out, but just get out of the room because I just don't want to have to deal with this shit. So I get my stuff together. I open the door and I see Leroy. And I was right, he's not a small man. And he's angry, really angry. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to deal with this guy. So he's quite far away from me though. And he's in the parking lot. I can see him from my balcony area. He thankfully doesn't see me, so I scoot out. He's coming this way, I go that way. And I just go downstairs, and it was perfect timing. As I'm going down the stairs, he's making it to the stairs. As he's coming up, I'm booting it, and I'm walking fast because I don't want Leroy to even know that I was in that room. So then I look back, there's Leroy, back pounding on that door, screaming for Lorraine. I know you're in there. I guess this is her regular haunt for her and her Johns. Nobody's in there this time. So I just leave the area. I just go for a walk. And like I said, it was it's a place where the evening it comes alive. I ended up going and seeing a band perform. Perfect, right up my alley. And it was really awesome. I enjoyed listening to the band. It was like country rock type stuff, but I enjoyed it. And I hung out there, and I was getting nervous though because it wasn't too far from the hotel. And I'm thinking, I hope the lady at the front desk doesn't show up. Anyways, watched the band, and she never showed up, but I was nervous. And then I walked back, and I'm just like, I hope that he hasn't broken in and stolen my stuff and whatever. Anyways, I get there. The door is mildly damaged. So I then have to go to the front desk. Now, when I go to the front desk, the lady's not there. It's a different lady. And I tell her, I go, look, apparently this guy, Leroy's been looking for his girlfriend. He's been coming around. Apparently she's been staying in my room. I'm in room such and such. He's damaged the door. She comes out and she looks at the door. She says, yeah, okay. I explained to her that I didn't do this because I don't want to be on the hook for the damage. And she just says, yeah, Leroy's a problem, blah, blah, blah. And she says, you know, don't confront him. He's an angry guy. He's dangerous. He's had a lot of altercations with the police. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I love me some Leroy. So she then goes back. She leaves. I go back into the room. Once again, I say to her, I go, can you please move me? The door's damaged, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So she finally agrees to move me. And I went into another room. It wasn't as bad as the room I was in. And the rest of it was fine. I ended up staying in that room, and the next day got up, and I think my lesson was in the afternoon. No, it was in the morning, because I planned to have the lesson and leave directly from the lesson home. Yeah. So I get up in the morning, breakfast, shower, all that stuff. Then I go to Zoro's again, 3-hour lesson. It was awesome, taught me some really cool stuff, some really interesting phrasing, the barking that I was talking about. Great lesson, great chatting, you know, talked about his inspiration. He showed me some videos of people that have inspired him. We talked about people that we know together. We talked about Nashville. I told him about Leroy some more. And after the lesson, I got in my car and I drove home with an incredible story. So don't forget, Nashville is a dangerous place. And I can say that, and it is true. Now, like I said, I've been in Nashville. I never had any problems. This is the only problem I've ever had in Nashville, but it was really a doozy. It was an interesting thing. Would I go back? I haven't been back to Nashville for, well, actually, I think I went, oh no, I've been to Nashville 3 or 4 times since then, probably even more, sorry. I have been back. So would I go back? The answer is yes. I went back many times, but it wasn't in the same situation where I was staying in a hotel in the hood. If my wife is with me, we are not staying in any kind of a hood. I just looked for the cheapest place. She would research, she would read reviews, she would not go into a place that's, you know, I think it was $79.99. $79.99 was the price. She would not go in a hotel that was $80. Absolutely not. She's too smart for that. But I was like, I don't care, a hotel, I don't care. I care now, because you just never know what you're going to get yourself into. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much. I've had some really wonderful comments, guys telling me that they really enjoy the videos. Please leave your thoughts on this video. And Leroy, if you're watching, I still love you, man. I hope you found Lorraine. And thanks for not killing me. Thanks very much for watching. And as always, keep drumming. See ya.